Hey there, in this video we're going to be taking a look at my new tripod setup, or more specifically my tripod head setup, working with the new to me, Leofoto G4 Pro, as well as the Leofoto YB75LP leveling base. So I've been working with, for several years now, the Leofoto, I'll have to throw it on the screen, I always forget the model number, but it was a Leofoto hybrid head. So it was a combination of a ball head with a 2-axis geared head essentially on top of that ball head. And I've absolutely loved it. I really had no intention of replacing it, except for one shortcoming that's always bothered me, is that it didn't have the ability to pan side to side with a gear. It was just free movement, like you would see on a normal panning movement on a ball head or anything like that. So with the G4 Pro specifically, there's also a non-Pro model of the G4. With the Pro, you also gain geared panning. So now I can move side to side as minutely or as precise as I need to with this G4 Pro. So that alone has been worth the price of admission for me. Like I said, I absolutely love the hybrid head. It just had that shortcoming of not having the geared panning. This has also the X and Y axis gearing as well, so you can tilt forward and back, side to side, and all that good stuff. But obviously that is very slow and tedious to do. So there's also on the tripod, let me kind of move around here so you can see, you've got 1, 2, and 3 main locking gears that you can completely unlock, and it basically turns it into free moving like a traditional ball head. Now the downside to that is there's zero friction on it, so you have to be holding onto the camera as you unlock those 3 main gears. Otherwise it's just gonna flop down or back or to the side or whatever, and obviously if it's not secure to your head, that could be quite disastrous. So it's great in that it allows a lot of movement in that regard. It basically turns it, like I said, into a ball head or almost a free moving gimbal, but it doesn't lock it at all when you've got those 3 main gears unlocked. When they're locked, again, you've got the very precise geared movement with these larger knobs to dial in your composition as needed. So absolutely love that. The non-Pro model of this G4 is exactly the same, but it does not have the geared panning movement. It's also got a lever lock on it to attach the camera or the tripod collar, as opposed to this is using a more standard, I guess you would say, twist lock to secure the camera. So those are the 2 main differences between the G4 and the G4 Pro. The biggest of those 2 is definitely not having the geared panning. To me, that is absolutely critical. Now, if you've never shot with a geared head, all I can say is, unless you're somebody who likes to run and gun and move really quickly, it is absolutely life-changing. I've known very, very few people that have tried a geared or purchased a geared head and not just absolutely been won over almost immediately. It does present some challenges if you're somebody that's doing some really tight, intimate shots more on the ground surface as opposed to what I do with woodland or landscape. But even with those tight ground shots, you can work around it. Now, the other thing I've done is, I mentioned at the beginning, I bought this leveling base. So this tripod, Leofoto tripod, I bought back in July for my trip to Colorado. It's got a 75mm base to it, but that base can be removed and replaced with a leveling head, which is what I've done here. So the leveling head lets you quickly dial in a rough composition and then turn it back and tighten it, if I could turn it the right way. I'm standing on the opposite side of it, so I'm a little thrown off. But anyways, that lets you kind of rough in your composition, and then from there you can use your 3 main precision gears to really home in on the exact composition you want. So I just got this leveling base a couple weeks ago and used it on a few outings at this point. Really, really happy with it. Since I've gotten this, I've not used the main unlocking gears or gear unlock levers a single time to set up my composition. So I think this is going to be a really nice combination of this leveling base along with the geared setup. And you say, gosh, that's a lot of stuff to mess with. Why don't you just stick with your ball head? The bottom line is, shooting as much as I do with my long lens, I've now got the Canon RF 100 to 500. The ball head just is not precise enough in terms of dialing in, literally dialing in with your gears in this case, an exact composition when you're zoomed in, even 100 millimeters. Heck, I even use and love the gearing with the 24 to 105, and I've even gotten a benefit out of it with my 14 to 35 Canon RF lens. Again, it just really helps you refine your compositions nice and precisely, and getting it right in camera. Apologies for the plane flying overhead, but getting it right in camera without having to go into post and doing some cropping and things like that. So again, just a quick look at the Leofoto G4 Pro with the Leofoto, let me refresh my memory here on the leveling base, the Leofoto YB75LP. They've got 3 different versions of the leveling base. There's a short version, which I'm definitely glad I didn't get, because even the medium one is a little bit minimal in terms of having enough lever to grip to unlock it and lock it and maneuver it. There's a longer one as well that includes a hook. I opted not to have that one because I still want the ability to get my tripod nice and low if I ever need to. So I felt like the medium length one on this was the best compromise in terms of having leveling base without sacrificing a whole lot of my ability to get nice and low and compose those low shots when I need to. So honestly, right now, it sounds like hyperbole or whatever, but with my new tall Leofoto tripod, which I've done a review on, you can go take a look at that, or on my blog, read my write-up on that. This sucker gets to over 77 inches when fully extended, which I don't use on flat ground too much, but on uneven ground, total game changer. With that and the G4 Pro and this leveling base, I feel like at this point I've got pretty much, for me at least, and I think for a lot of landscape photographers, a pretty darn close to perfect setup. So definitely recommend you check it out. If you do decide you want to give them a try, any Leofoto product, if you enter the code Michael Rung, you get 12% off your purchase. I am not sponsored by them. This video isn't sponsored by them. I've paid for all of this equipment myself, simply using discounts that are publicly available to anybody else. So all of this is my own money invested, and I would say it's money very well invested based on my experiences with it so far. So that's that. I'll have links down in the description below. I'll also probably have a written version of this if you want to take a look at that. And there's really nothing more to say other than I absolutely love having this geared setup with the G4 Pro and its geared panning. So without any further rambling or waffling, thanks for watching, and until next time, take care.